Welcome to our weekly tech review, where we explore the latest trends, news and updates from the world of technology. This podcast is the perfect source for staying up to date with what is important to know right now. You can watch all episodes on YouTube or listen to us on all major podcast platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcast while you work out, drive, or maybe even travel through space. Today is a special episode because we are reporting from the Media&Tech 2023 in Berlin, Germany. This year the conference was dominated by generative AI, which was not really a surprise. You might have seen TechReview 64 recorded live on the conference main stage, but we also talked to a lot of speakers behind the stage. I had the chance to talk to Katarina Schneider, who was moderating a panel about navigating AI, pioneering tomorrow's possibilities. The big topic on this conference is of course generative AI, and I know that you are deeply involved in generative AI and you are going to give a talk today, right?
Yes, I have the honor to moderate a panel on that's called Navigating AI, Pioneering Tomorrow's Possibilities.
Yeah.
So that can mean a lot. I'm actually excited what the panelists will come up with, but yeah, hopefully we'll give a broad overview on implications on business, editorial, tech, and also cover AI ethics.
Yeah, exactly. And especially in terms of ethics, many people are very afraid of what AI is going to mean for their workplace, for safety and society in general. Are you more enthusiastic or more scared of what is going to come?
I'm absolutely thrilled and enthusiastic. But I will also say that I understand the concern because this is a lot to digest and the degree of change is extraordinarily high. I feel like every day there is a new press release and I can totally understand how that can also be very concerning to people because everything seems to shake at the same time.
Yeah, and in terms of the product landscape, it feels a little bit like the Wild West where we are steering right now, not only in terms of product development, but also in terms of regulations and governmental oversight. Is this something that you touched before?
I think we are all a little bit, we experienced all the debates with Google, especially on intellectual property, and publishers are historically probably now very concerned that things will go a better way and turn out in terms of monetization a bit more profitable for us as they were before. But at the same time, I always feel regulation won't solve a problem. It is one important argument that has to be brought to the table, but we also should really focus on the media usage behavior and the user trends, and if chat and conversation will be the thing, we need to find a way to work on that.
Yeah, exactly. And we are here on the Media&Tech. I always forgot it's not only the TechCon but Media&Tech. And especially in the media industry, I think there will be a big disruption with these new technologies that are now coming up. Do you think that this will come very, very soon or just soon?
I feel it has already started, and the degree right now is maybe small. We hear a lot concepts talking about co-pilots, having just maybe an assistant on the shoulder. So I think this is probably a stage that could last for a while, and people are trying to get comfortable just working and collaborating using AI tools. I admire the level of excitement that the journalists at Bild, for instance, bring to this topic. The vast majority is very open and loves playing around with the different features. But I think we'll, of course, shortly get to a stage where it's more about efficiency and maybe also the first failures or things will go wrong, hallucinations will happen, and that will be an exciting moment to see how will it shape the media landscape in the long run. And I don't think we have an idea yet on how dramatically or drastically this will turn out.
Exactly, and not only in the changes in the big corporations, but also in the startup landscape and people who are trying out things that were not possible before without a new big newsroom, or in terms of just experimenting and playing around as a small player on this market. So I'm very, very excited to see what is happening there.
Yeah, me too, and it's great to be part of Axel Springer in this context because I feel we have access to all of that during our network. There is heartfelt, the VC just starting again and now really focusing on generative AI as part of their work. So I feel we are really set up for success to make the most out of this.
In fact, not everything on the Media&Tech was about AI. I also visited a talk about immersive storytelling to connect with Gen Z audiences by Snapchat. Shortly before he went to the stage, I was able to have a quick chat with Snapchat's global head of news, Ben Reiniger. So, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here.
What do you think so far about the Media and Tech Con?
It's been great. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be, but lots of fun. And I'm very excited to see the Free Tech booth. It all looks really cool. So excited to see it in real life.
Very nice. And with Snapchat, what are you going to present today to the audience?
Today I will be talking, me and my colleague Stacy. I am talking about video content on Snapchat, how to make a great and engaging show to reach audiences with mobile video. And my colleague Stacy is talking a little bit about what we do with augmented reality, AR, and some of the cool stuff going on there.
And one of the big topics today on the conference is, of course, generative AI. Is this something where Snapchat is also having their fingers in?
Yes, Snapchat is doing a lot around AI, though I must say I am a media guy and not, it's a big company working on a lot of cool projects. AI is very much one of them, but that's not my particular area of expertise. So maybe next year we'll come and talk to you guys about AI.
But do you feel also in this realm of where Snapchat is on the way, that there's going to be a lot of emerging disruption that we feel right now in the whole media industry?
From AI in particular?
Yeah, right,
or,
exactly. Like AI-generated stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll all see together, right? I mean, I think it's definitely at the early days. Like I said, we right now, like me and my colleague Stacy, are mostly here to talk about video and AI and AR, where I think we definitely see a lot of growth and future possibility in augmented reality. I think that's a technology where we're really at the beginning. I'm sure that AI will continue to evolve and grow. Whether it's going to be the next big thing or just a next big thing, I'm not sure. I think we'll all learn that together.
Yeah.
Early days, but I think in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we'll all certainly know a lot more.
Yeah. I know that Snapchat is very popular with a younger audience, right?
Yes.
Is this something that you think about like shifting in terms of also addressing an older audience or different market segments?
I mean, Snapchat has more than 380 million users every day on our platform, so we reach a huge number of people. A lot of them are young. I think it's 75%, something like this, of 13 to 34-year-olds in around 20 different nations. But listen, there's something for everyone. We've got a very diverse, and growing slate of shows. We're seeing lots of user growth in all demographics, and definitely users of all ages are very welcome on the platform. So I'm not in that demographic anymore, so and I still use it every day. Later I talked to Steven Plöger, who is head of Immersive News at Axel Springer. He gave a talk about audience development and growth management in times of AI. Before he went to the stage, I was able to get a statement from him. What topic do you bring to the conference?
Yeah, it's of course a topic about artificial intelligence, but it will be more in the sense of how does audience development and growth management functions in time of artificial intelligence. So we are talking lots of generative AI, we're talking about ChatGPT, but there's also another kind of artificial intelligence when we talk about like AI-driven recommendation engines that platforms like Google, like TikTok, like YouTube, and all like external platforms use right now. And as their algorithm get more complex and more intransparent, I think at some points it will be pretty hard to handle for us. So we have to keep that in mind and find workflows, how we can deal with those platforms in the future as their algorithms and artificial intelligence get more and more complex and intransparent.
Absolutely. And do you fear like disruption from the outside, that other players starting from scratch and will like surpass all of us?
I'm not scared at all, but I'm sure that we will have to change things in the way, for example, like editorial teams work on those topics in the future. And I just with this panel I want to make people be aware of those problems that we are like facing, because most of our business models here, especially in journalism, are heavily relying on reach and on growth. If we want to grow, we need to understand those external platforms even better. And I will try to draw a picture of how that could work out in the future.
And one thing that I think is absolutely crazy is the pace of innovation that happens in AI right now. I mean, the whole thing started with the release of ChatGPT like 6 months ago or something. And right now we have to be aware of everyday news of new tools, new frameworks, new methodologies, and new players on the market. How do you stay in touch with the everyday new innovations?
I think that's the big questions we have to answer right now. So I think, especially in editorial teams, journalists have to work way more close to with data analysts, with product managers, with audience development managers. So usually when you see editorial structures, usually those people are work a bit more outside, not in the like daily, everyday work that journalists do when it comes to how can we present a story for those platforms. And I think building up teams that really work interdisciplinary, that will be our biggest challenge. And I think we are not at this point right now, but we have to think about soon how we can do that and how we actually can handle these problems that definitely will arise in the future.
Another big brand at the conference was Business Insider Germany, and I met editor and CEO Jakob Weiss, who told me about his optimistic view of the future and how he perceived the adoption of generative AI in his newsroom so far. So what brings you here to the conference?
Curiosity, and pretty much the question that I think most people are here for. It's what to do with generative AI.
Of course. And you're even going to be part of a panel later on the main stage, right?
That's right. We're going to discuss the impact of generative AI, and I might share some of the first findings our editorial team had when using AI, mostly ChatGPT, but also other things.
And are these findings more scary or more like a sense of opportunity for you?
Well, I'm pretty optimistic for the whole thing so far. So I think there are two things. First, when you look at ChatGPT, this can make the life of the journalists working for us actually much easier, and that's what most journalists working for us are experiencing at the moment. So ChatGPT helps them summarize interviews they have done and helps them create posts for LinkedIn, for example. So it saves a lot of time. So our editorial team views ChatGPT in a rather positive, optimistic way. And I think what's even more important for myself is that for years I've thought a lot about what I consider the biggest shift or change in news consumption overall, as we see the younger generation moving towards a more and more audio-visual content consumption. People consume less text and more audio and video, which is a big challenge for media companies because it's much more expensive to create these kind of content formats. And here comes generative AI and actually helps. So what I've seen in tools over the last weeks that create, there are tools where you simply put a link into and the tool will create a reel. It's still a draft, but it's a very good draft for video. This saves a lot of time and it actually allows us to create content for a younger generation. So I think it's a huge opportunity right now.
Right. And I really like it, what you're saying, especially because there are so many people who are fearing for their jobs, who say, AI is going to take over everything and no humans are going to be involved anymore. But I think that like the shift is going to be in terms of productivity and efficiency. And even though, of course, there are many things that people are not going to do anymore, it's more in terms of how we can scale and how we can automate things so that the same staff can work on more things at the same time. Yeah.
But I think it's also very important to be clear or candid about this when we talk to our teams. And I'm going to steal that one from Semaphore's Ben Smith, because what Ben Smith told me was that he does not believe that there is a risk of losing your job to an AI. But there is a clear risk of losing your job to a person who knows how to use AI. Exactly, and I think that's going to happen to a lot of people. Like if you miss this one, this will be crucial in your career. And that's what I tell my team is like if you're a picture editor at the moment, you should definitely spend a lot of time with DALL-E and Midjourney and others because this will heavily impact your job.
Absolutely.
And you need to know first how to use that. So become very good at prompting, find consistency in prompts, find ways to save time, find ways to optimize your work, because you will have to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is a tool, and you never should forget that this is a tool which is going to change everything. And if you do not learn to use this tool properly, you're going to fall behind.
Yes, exactly. Couldn't agree more.
After lunch, I met with Katarina Schneider, who is head of digital training and upskilling at Axel Springer's Free Tech Academy. She gave me a preview of her talk about Free Tech Academy and how it is preparing Axel Springer for a digital-only future, and how she sees the role of generative AI for us all. How do you like the conference so far?
Hi, Tarek. I love it. It's a lot of fun looking at the colleagues as well from so many different units at Axel Springer. I haven't had a chance to actually participate in all the sessions which I wanted to, but I have had an opportunity to meet so many colleagues which I only met online from our international unit. So for me, it's definitely a special day today. So before the TechCon, after the TechCon, I'm already waiting for the next one to come.
Right. And especially, I also think it's not only the content of the conference, but also meeting the people and seeing each other in these times of remote work, right?
Absolutely, without a question. And also, to be honest with you, I have attended OMR, Online Marketing Rockstars, 2 weeks ago. And I think my main message would be Philipp Mestermeier, move, because I sincerely believe that it's improving from year to year. It's becoming such a great, on my opinion, scalable product. And I can be sure that we will do a pretty good competition to the famous OMR. And in comparison to those, I think that our content of today's conference is way more quality and amazing people behind it, which is really nice to observe.
Yeah, not bad. Comparing to OMR, it's like a very high bar.
Seriously, I think we can really do.
But you're not only like a visitor on this conference, you're also giving a talk later, right?
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. We have also quite a lot of registration. We're doing a talk with my colleague Nilufar, who is a part of the Free Tech upskilling team. We are giving a talk to our upskilling and reskilling offers and programs for our colleagues. And how do we at Free Tech actually accompany our colleagues on the way to the digital-only future at Axel Springer.
Yeah, and not only digital-only, but in the future probably also like generative AI only.
Yeah, sure. That's what I think. After a few talks which I had an opportunity to attend today, I think it's definitely digital-only equals to generative-only.
But how did this challenge of upskilling and reskilling change in the last months, where so much happened with generative AI? Is this something that you observed?
I think we have much more demand for being fast, being up to date, and it's developing so fast. So it's challenge, who is faster, but it's also quite exciting because it's also a lot of new fields for us as well within the upskilling, and they are growing and growing and growing. So I don't think that AI will take our jobs, because our job is to bring the others AI by.
Right. Yeah, this is a topic that I talk to many people about this fear of being replaced by AI, even though I personally strongly believe that these AI tools, they are tools and they make us better and more efficient employees. And so I do not think that I'm going to be replaced by an AI. But in a previous interview, someone said, I might get replaced by someone who learned how to use the AI efficiently. Yeah, so if I do not participate in upskilling and training in this way, then I give the others like this head start with this new landscape of tools. And I think this is true.
I think also with our upskilling offers, we offer this competitive advantage as well for every employee.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of hashtag lifelong learning.
Yeah.
So I think you can never get enough of it. And I'm sure that there will be even more exciting things coming up within the generative AI, around the generative AI, which we will be able to learn from each other in the future as well.
Right. After the conference, we joined the after-show party on the rooftop, and there I met Salah-Eldin from Axel Springer's executive board. She shared her perspective on how the corporation is tackling the challenges of introducing generative AI into basically everything. And since she is basically one of the organizers of the conference, it was also very interesting to hear her take about the conference itself. So we are here on the roof terrace of Axel Springer headquarters, still on the Media&Tech Con, and I'm here with board member Nadine, who is kind of also also the sponsor of this initiative because everything here is generative AI, and this is the topic that you are leading, right?
Yes, Tarek. So this is the very first Media and TechCon here at Axel Springer, and this is the conference not only for technology but also for journalism and for business. And all of this is connected by culture. So we believe that generative AI is not only a technological topic, but it's also a culture topic. And we see that there are three areas that we want to explore further. So it's education and exchange, and this is where the knowledge networks comes into place, where the Free Tech Academy comes into place, training, upskilling, all of this is part of it, and exploration of new opportunities, new business models, startups, product research, and optimization of what we're doing already today. So it's very exciting to have this conference here. More than 1,000 people have registered, and this is a new record for us here.
That is true, and especially I was here also last year, and last year it was kind of 500 people, I think, and it was a very, very nice atmosphere. But this year, with a special topic of generative AI, you feel it with all the talks and all the speakers, what enthusiasm is there, and that we have this common understanding of how important this topic is.
Yes, absolutely. And it's nice to see that now also journalists and business people are here. So last year it was the TechCon, and there were a couple of journalists there, a couple of people from the newsroom, but this year we're seeing so many that are also contributing as speakers.
Yeah, right.
So the power of collaboration and the power of interdisciplinary work, for me this is really a testament to this conference as well.
Yeah, and I really like this evolution of this format, and that we are going in an agile way and follow these trends. And even though we everything we do here is experimental, this whole realm of LLMs is so young. We don't even have it for a year, and every day there are new frameworks and new tools that we have to deal with. And so especially in the media industry, it is so fascinating to see what new opportunities we get there. And so I really enjoy having especially like support from the board and from all the stakeholders here at Axel Springer to see what is evolving in this new era of media industry.
Absolutely, and it's really about learning, right? Learning goes from the intern to the executive board member, and we want everyone to help us find the answers and to empower a new generation of experts. So this is all what it's about today, and I'm really excited, and the feedback has been fantastic. A colleague mentioned to me earlier that this has been the best day of the year so far. So big thanks to Daniela and Madi from the Knowledge Network, also part of Talent and Culture, who made all of this happen.
But the conference was not only about generative AI. Web3 was also present, and I met with the tag team of Kilt Protocol and National Media and Tech. Babette Wagner and Dudley Needham gave a talk about a Web3-based identity management approach. You both had a talk today, right?
Yeah, we had a talk together. So I'm Dudley from Kilt Protocol, and we do digital identity using Web3 standards. And me and Babette had a talk together. So
Yeah, so what we did in the past, we did a few hackathons. So my team, account management, together with the Kilt guys. And what we did was to include Kilt as another session system into our regular login, like an additional button, login with Kilt, and we customized a wallet for this use case, which enables the user to create a digital identity on-chain, to create credentials for Axel Springer brands like Bild and Welt, and to finally consume paid content with the session issued after this process.
Yeah, I remember that Web3 and the Kilt Protocol, I think last year everything was hyped around that, and it feels so weird that with one boom of the generative AI, the whole blockchain topic kind of stepped back into the background. Do you have any touch points with generative AI, or is your business model completely unchanged?
Actually, this is a good point, because we work with digital identity, and obviously digital identity is a big topic, not just for human identity or business identity, but it should also be for identity of AI itself. So how do we know, or how do we identify an AI, and how is it capable of making signatures or proofs based upon its own information? So I think digital identity is going to stretch towards AI in itself. So I would imagine that there will be a touch point at some point. And we, as a company, so Bot Labs, who helped develop Kilt Protocol, the protocol itself is capable of, being generic enough to allow certain credentials to be passed to AI and so forth. Again, I think it's going to be a very important topic to talk about digital identity and then AI in itself as well. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree, especially because the topic itself is not that. Right now, people are not talking about that, but I always think that Web3 is like a interdisciplinary topic. Web3 by itself does not do anything, but Web3 in combination with the metaverse, this was for a long time like a big topic, but also exactly with proof of ownership or like the origin. In this whole discussion about deepfaking and the origin of true journalism, this is a big thing. And so I'm pretty sure that when the hype around generative AI is going to slow down, people are going to talk about like this whole ecosystem of how to make this work in real life products.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that this touches upon what we did as a part of the hackathon that Babette just mentioned, is building the foundations of integration potentially with Web3 in the Axel Springer ecosystem, right? So the identity part of this could also fall over to the individual's identity, but it could also contribute to how do we recognize AI within this place. So maybe that's just the way that it could fall into that category of AI, is that Axel Springer sees a need for AI, and then they have to have a need for identifying this AI, and how does that work? And so maybe this is already a stepping stone into the right direction of where the two worlds collide, of Web 2 and Web 3.
Later I talked to Max Chelko, who is head of UX UI at Axel Springer, and he told me about how he sees the impact of generative AI in the creative industry. So what's your profession?
UX UI strategy.
And did you find the topics of generative AI relevant for your field?
Absolutely. It was extremely amazing hearing about the future of AI, and it's also very relevant for our field.
Yeah.
For example, in terms of developing new interfaces, there's new tools, new products, helping designers, creating interfaces. For example, automating UX for, let's say, e-commerce platforms, and that is definitely where we headed.
Yeah. One of the biggest questions that everyone on this conference had was how will generative AI impact our field of work and our let's say profession and jobs? Do you fear for your job, or do you see like a big opportunity?
No, I don't fear for my job. I think it's a big opportunity. The future will be about collaboration between designers and AI. So AI will help us design product, services, maybe creating a first draft, and in a second step the human designer will come in, further develop it, refine it, and put the final touches on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I also think that everyone should keep in mind that these tools are exactly that. They are tools, and they are supposed to help us. And I think if you use them in the right way, that they are really, really powerful. And those who learn to quickly adopt and adjust to them will be in the lead on the job market. Yeah, and so this is something that I tell everyone, that this is really, really important to embrace as a future vision.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
In the future, there will be few jobs that won't involve AI. Design is not an exception, UX UI is not an exception, and the faster and the better we embrace this new opportunity, the better it is for us and for Axel Springer.
I also talked to Shuvo from Ideas Engineering, who was also present at the conference. He talked about the opportunities that emerge from hackathons, which are especially important today, where new technologies and frameworks are popping up every day. And most often the developers are the first ones to come up with creative ways to utilize them. Shuvo, what did you talk about?
We talked about our hackathon idea that we pitched this year in a January NFT hackathon, and idea was to develop an audio player and make it integrated with ad server to generate more revenue. So that was our pitch talk in the hackathon, and we kind of have this prototype already built and implemented, working on the build website, and we actually are happy to say that we already got green light from our product team that we are going to build a real product. So that was actually like the summary that how an idea from a hackathon come to a reality.
Yeah, right. And we just heard like a talk from the CIO of Axel Springer how important it is to have these hackathons as a starting point for big initiatives, and especially with all of this generative AI topic that we are having right now. It's so important to push these topics from the hackathons.
That's true. Unfortunately, our talk actually was not regarding our round of that generative AI. But it was more like being like a self-dependent, have the ownership of all the products, so that we can actually make it more optimized, can push it to like generate more revenue and also like make it sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know for a fact that ideas engineering is very engaged in this whole topic of driving innovation and pushing like new ideas. And so I'm pretty sure that ideas engineering is always at the forefront of all of these experiments.
Yeah, I guess that's what we do at Ideas.
Did I mention that the TechReview podcast had a recording on the main stage at the Media&Tech? Of course, I also spoke with the TechReview crew to hear what they took with them from the conference. We are on the rooftop of the Axel Springer building of the Media&Tech, and we just left the live session of the TechReview podcast.
Wir machen einfach so.
We had an overall idea, right? So that was AI today, or generative AI. And I liked actually having this kind of concept. Generative AI from so many angles.
Our live podcast, I enjoyed it very much. It was very... I don't know, in German you would say kurzweilig, so it was very entertaining, I guess, because we had to stick to half an hour, which is hard for us.
Right.
Because we love to discuss and we love to talk longer than we actually plan to. And I mean, we obviously also stick to the overall topic of this year's Media&Tech Con. We narrowed it down to 2 generative AI topics.
Right.
And I think it were some cool articles, some cool cases that we picked for today.
The TechReview panel this year, I think, was something very special because it touched on something that we all know. It wasn't. I know that at TechReview sometimes we talk about topics that are literally very far away when we talk about origami in space. One of our favorite examples, I think.
Absolutely.
But this year, I think we chose topics that are extremely well known to all of us. And I think everybody can understand the problems there and is also experiencing those challenges in their everyday life. So I think it was the best panel we ever did. That's what I have to say. Yeah.
I would have loved to have someone from the audience jump in and was like, something similar happened to me, because we had like the case with the lawyer who used ChatGPT for the first time and failed miserably.
Yeah.
Poor him. And it would have been fun to hear like some other stories of like, the first time I used it, this and that happened to me, so I feel with him or whatever.
There was really one topic and all these angles. I really liked that a lot. And what I also liked is that it was in some sense deeper than other tech cons, right? So there were so many aspects that had been discussed all our lives, right? The future as such, the future of, us as a society, that I'm really happy to be part of that and being part of the discussions tonight here. And I really like that it had been so deep and had this depth.
I really enjoy that they have us as a regular guest on the Media&Tech Con.
Yes,
and
it's a tradition, as I heard today.
Exactly, yeah, and I will take them on their word. And in Media&Tech Con 2025. 2024.
I mean, 2025 it sounds great. Yeah.
Right.
What are we going to do in 2025?
That's the crazy thing. I mean, last year we did not anticipate that we are going to be that deep into generative AI. I think this topic did not exist last year. The commercial version of ChatGPT is only 6 months old, and all these other tools that we are discussing, they are only like a couple of weeks or months old. And so to try to foresee what is going to happen in the next month or year, it's quite impossible.
And from my point of view, it's definitely more than a hype, right?
Yeah.
AI is here and it will stay.
Yeah.
And it will touch our lives and our work within the next months and years, and it will not go away. So we have to learn to live with that, as we have also seen from the talks that there's in some cases even some kind of naivety, right? In working and interacting with this new tool, and that it is in the end.
Right.
So that we really have to learn how to use it effectively.
It's really hard to foresee what we are going to talk about next year. Probably something like Twitter Blue, Twitter Gold, or Twitter.
We will always talk about Twitter. Yeah.
Probably Twitter in space or something. I don't know.
And we will talk about a very weird mix. We're going to talk about something like crypto, AI. Yeah, we were talking about what you discussed at your panel individually.
Right.
Chatbots that are mining and other chatbots that are, I don't know, stealing. I don't know. We will talk about something like that. That was a very long answer. I'm sorry.
Perfectly okay. And to most people today, I said, let's see each other next year at the TechCon.
Yes.
But I will see you like next week on the TechReview podcast, right?
Yes, exactly. And we will see you, dear viewer, dear listener, we will see you as well in our next podcast. So tune in next Tuesday.
Thanks for tuning in today's TechReview Spotlight from the Media&Tech on 2023 in Berlin. What do you think about this special format? I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments so that we can learn from it in the future. And with that being said, have a great week.